Yo, what is up guys? I'm bringing you a brand new video, and this time we're talking about how to efficiently play as a free-to-play player, and I'm going to give you a lot of tips as to how to bypass some of the most common conveniences that are sold on the Pearl Shop and save you upwards of like $150 with just being a smart gamer and really bypassing a lot of the need for a lot of these quote-unquote essential items that a lot of players buy. So let's start off with the first one, and that is pets. So getting to tier 4 pets is pretty difficult as a free-to-play player because you do need to buy these off the Pearl Shop, and it requires a lot of them considering they only give you 5 tier 1s to start if you do the main quest line up to Media. However, if you are selective and know what the right pets are to put up your order on in the marketplace, it's actually pretty easy to buy pets with silver, and they're pretty decently worth it. For example, the spotted Valencian cat, let's say, this is a pet that only 127 trades have ever been made. It only costs 92 mil silver, but it's going to be really hard to buy it because last sale was over 2 weeks ago, and who knows when the last one before that was. But if you're putting on the right orders, let's say you put on the Naughty Dog, for example, this pet has 22,000 trades because it's oftentimes included as either an attendance reward, where a lot of people are selling it because they already have tier 4 pets, or it's included in a Pearl Shop bundle that is given to players that, buy certain items on the Pearl Shop and just give it to them for free, and they oftentimes will just sell it on the market. So if you're being selective and choosing the right pets you put orders on, you can definitely get a lot of pets for a pretty reasonable silver cost relative to think that these cost about $9 worth of pearls if you otherwise would have bought them. So pay attention to the Pearl Shop every week. What is the new package that's coming out that includes one of these pets? Or take a look at the attendance, and if there's a pet in there that's able to be sold, put up your orders on those pets, and you're likely to buy, literally you could buy 1 billion silver worth of pets in a single night, and that should be at least enough to get you a tier 4, 2, or more, depending on your luck. So make sure you're avoiding certain pets, like let's say the fluffy puppy. This is one that only sold months ago, and there's been 880 trades and there's 2 orders. This would be a terrible candidate for buying, but there's tons of great candidates, like let's say brown fighting dog. Last one sold today. There's only 1 order and 2,000 trades. Pretty decent chance to get it. All right, so pets solved. Now let's move on to how are you going to make money without a value pack. So value packs have a 30% silver collection upon central market sales, which means a lot of the stuff you gather while grinding is going to be taxed very heavily without a value pack. The best way to get around that is by being selective about your grind spots, and I'm going to tell you about the 3 spots that you're going to grind as a free-to-play player, and those are the only 3 spots you'll probably ever need to grind. The first one is the Centaurus Herd. If you're a Season Plus player, you're likely able to grind here on day 1 because if you have a guild that you joined, likely there's a very nice person that might have grinded you up to level 60. It only takes about 2 hours at most of leeching, so it's a really easy task, and you can make your Tuvala gear full tet from there pretty simply, maybe even pen, and you can head straight to Centaurs. The reason Centaur is great is not only can you make over 200 mil an hour if you're a fast class that is running a loot scroll or something like that, which they oftentimes will give you on season servers or during attendance rewards and stuff like that. It's really, really good money around that gear level, but it's also really close to rock post. And one of the main issues as a free-to-play player is not having a tent. Tents offer the ability to repair and buy potions really conveniently, but by locating yourself here at Centaurs, it's a really short walk down the street or ride your horse, and you can get your general trades good from here. You can get your horse from here. You can do everything right from Rock Post. And a lot of the money from Centaurs is non-taxed because over half the money is in trash loot, and another 25% of it is in Kaffir stones, which is stuff you're going to keep anyway. So really only 25% of the money you're making here is going to be taxed on the market, and that's really, really good. You can stay here all the way up to like 265 AP with Kudum, I would say. And then from there, you might consider moving on to the other good grind spot, which is Fogans. So Elvia Fogans require 270 AP, but 265 is totally fine on certain classes if you have PvE crystals and some good buffs and stuff. So I would say that you can definitely grind this rotation right here by the northern Sianaga node here. And the reason you want to grind here is because a lot of the money, once again, is raw silver. The trash loot is worth a lot of money, but you're also right by a stable keeper, which is really, really convenient for being able to repair your gear right close to your rotation. So you don't need that need for that tent as much. And of course, you can always infinitely stack stuff on your horse. I'm assuming you probably know about this, but when you open up the inventory of your horse, you can put on, let's say, 100 items, and then you can take off that item and you can put on your full stack again, and then you take that off, put on your full stack, and you basically can infinitely stack items on your horse. So as you're getting trash loot, you just slam it on your horse and not have to worry so much about overutilizing your weight on your character. And so it's really helpful to be by that stable for that repair. The last spot, and this is right around when you hit 281 AP with Kudum and you have a good amount of DP, like maybe 341, some can go a little earlier, is grinding at Orcs. And Orcs is like the last grind spot you'll ever need, at least right now in the game. It is amazing money. It's the best money that I can make as a full 700 plus gear score player. But Orcs is insanely great because not only is it very conveniently located right next to, of course, a stable keeper, a lot of the money, like 85% of the money, is in pure raw silver stuff. Just like Fogans, just like Centaurs, you're going to get a ton of raw silver, and that means you do not have to be taxed on a lot of that stuff. And just as a tip, and why stable keepers are so good to be near, as opposed to certain other even repair vendors, one tip here as a new player, or as a free-to-play player, is get used to having donkeys with potions on them. So if you're at a stable and you have, let's say, this donkey called Mana, you can overstack a whole bunch of mana pots on him, and you can just grab your pots directly from this little donkey, and you can check him in. And then if you need health pots, you can check this guy out, and you can grab yourself some HP pots from him, just like so. And that really reduces the need for a tent. So that's a really, really nice thing to do. The easiest way to do it is you just grab any mount from a town, and you go to a goods vendor, you put all of those materials, all the HP pots, mana pots, whatever else you need on the horse or the donkey, and use the transport function, and you can transport that donkey directly to Eastern Gateway. You can transport it directly to Oliviero if you want, and that is a really, really good way to have pots and stuff available and not need that tent. Okay, so now that is really it when it comes to grinding and the best spots to mitigate the value pack. But certain things you're going to get in the game, whether that be through attendance or whether that be some of the drops you get at those spots, are going to need to be sold on the market. And the best way to mitigate a lot of that tax is by utilizing the loyalty value pack. So every 14 days, you can buy a loyalty value pack for 1 day, and that is going to give you the benefit of the value pack, for 1 day out of the 2 weeks. However, if you're smart about the way that you sell your items, you can utilize the full 14 days without ever getting taxed. And on day one, you can pick up all the benefit all on that one last day. So that's a little convoluted, but let me just explain and you guys will understand here. So if you were to sell, let's say, this sharp black crystal shard, if you sell it directly to an order, you are going to get taxed instantly. So if you don't have a value pack running, you are going to lose a lot of the money from that sale because you sold it to an order. However, if you choose to sell it not to an order, but you sell it anywhere here to here or all the way up to here even, if you sell an item not to an order and you let it sit on the market, like so, it'll appear right here in your sell area. And once that crystal gets purchased, you deliberately choose not to collect the silver until you have that 1 day value pack running. So you'll let that item sit there, and you'll let all of the items that you sell sit here until you're ready to actually take that money when you have the value pack active. And that's going to be super, super useful to mitigate a lot of the tax that a value pack can, mitigate, and that is great. The other tip is if you want more of a passive income, a really good way to do that is through node investment, but investing in very particular nodes. And the reason why you want to do that is because you can make great use of the trading skill. So trading is a skill that not a lot of people use, But what's amazing about it is if you don't have a value pack, it is semi-profitable to do, but it's really profitable to do when you think that it doesn't require any sort of value pack at all because you're getting raw silver. So the tip to start your trading empire is to invest in nodes that can make trade crates. So for example, Kelphion crates require fur timber. You can have a lot of nodes that require copper, a lot of nodes like Keplin that have coal, and you can make yourself a lot of different trade crates and take those trade crates and bring them to Valencia. And when you sell these to trade managers, it will be worth raw silver, which is non-taxable. And so that's great because all of your life skilling materials that you gather along the way, all the timber, all the ore, all the stuff you process down into a crate in likely either Grana or in Trent, and you send them on over to Valencia through either the transport system or by riding them on your horse, and you can make really, really decent you can really transfer raw materials into raw silver without that need for a value pack. A really good tip too is it's super easy to set up your trade empire if you get your workers in Old Wisdom Tree, because Old Wisdom Tree has a very high chance of giving you Papu workers at Artisan when you roll them at the worker guy who's just somewhere over here. And so you can continuously hire and fire these things until you get advanced ore packing and advanced timber packing. And that is really, really handy in order to, get yourself set up with workers. Now, as a free-to-play player, you're not going to be able to get all 4. You're probably able to hire 1 or 2, but getting one of those ore packers or one of those timber packers, I probably recommend timber, can be really good in making sure that you get your, trade empire working fast. Additionally, they always give you a free 1 or 2 worker slots in Grana, so you can roll for 1 there. And of course, Trent is a great place to have a worker for trade crates as well. So building your trade crates in Grana, Old Wisdom, and also in Trent is totally fine. So yeah, that's sort of the tip in regards to trading. And that's really all you need to know. You know how to, grind certain spots that are nearby repair guys and nearby pot vendors. You know about the trick where you can put pots in certain stable keepers and use that as a way to not use the tent as well as repair. You know about choosing grind spots that offer up mostly trash loot or things that you're going to sell for raw silver. And you know how to take your life skilling empire and turn that into raw silver and not require the value pack. You also know about the trick where you're not going to collect this item right away because you're going to wait 14 days to buy your value pack and collect these on the day that your value pack is active. And you know how to get free pets. That is most of the convenience that the game offers you. Done. You don't need a tent anymore, except for a villa, which is not that necessary. You don't need to have a lot of the functionalities that a tent offers. You don't need to buy pets anymore. Your weight is oftentimes solved because you can just overstack on a horse. And a lot of the main conveniences they offer is just not necessary as long as you're selective about where you grind and you're selective about how you sell things. But I don't want to make the video too much longer, so that's about it. Hopefully you found this video useful. Hopefully you learned something. And if you did, please subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.